in Raipur, but also because our city feels great pride today in welcoming amongst us such a stalwart of Indian cinema, an award-winning actor, a director, a great artist, an accomplished author, a prolific poetess, and a marvelous photographer too, Deepti. Can we please give it up? On behalf of Ehsaas Women Raipur and Prabha Foundation, I welcome you, Deepti to Raipur. Ehsaas is an initiative of Prabha Foundation. It is a conglomeration of women from all walks of life who contribute in their own ways and inspire others to do the same for the betterment of the society. Ehsaas women have their presence in a number of cities now, and with their firm local presence, they have proven to be a strong arm of Prabha Foundation. Prabha Foundation is dedicated to socio-cultural welfare and humanitarian causes. The foundation has worked relentlessly over the years to promote literature, arts, and culture and bring it to the forefront of our society. The foundation has its presence not only pan-India but even abroad. Before we go further, I would like to invite Mr. Karan Kapoor, the General Manager of Hyatt Raipur, to just come and say a few words. Mr. Kapoor. So while we wait for Mr. Kapoor, let me tell you a little bit about the foundation. We believe that to build an engaged cohort for art and culture, a holistic approach is intrinsic. Throughout this journey, the foundation has endeavored to revitalize and promote Indian arts, culture, and literature through its numerous verticals. We have various collectives like Muskan for children, Kalam, Aakhar, Ek Mulaqat, Tet a Tea, Sur or Saas, just to name a few. It's not possible to share the extensive work that the foundation does. It's very widespread and we have limited time. But let me take this opportunity to share just a little bit. We have Kitab, which is a book launch event providing a platform to authors to showcase their latest works before a discerning audience and media through tastefully curated book launches. An Author's Afternoon, a successful series of enchanting afternoons providing platform for English literature. 92 such Author's Afternoons have been organized so far. A cross-country platform for writers in the English language, the Right Circle, one for which we are all present here today, strives to bring together authors and their readers in an informed and engaging setting. The foundation celebrates celluloid brilliance through Chalachitra, where special screenings of films or theatre festivals are organized. And I'm very glad to share with you all that we are bringing to the city a much celebrated English play on the 7th of August. You can get in touch with us if you would like to be invited for the same. It is my privilege to share with you all that over 220 editions of the Right Circle have been successfully completed so far. हिंदी साहित्य को बढ़ावा देने के लिए हमारा प्रयास है जिसका नाम है कलम, जिसकी अब तक 550 से ज़्यादा प्रस्तुतियाँ देश और विदेश में की जा चुकी हैं. And to name just a few more, so far the foundation has curated 120 plus kitab, 35 plus TED tea, and over 45 plus Muskan sessions successfully, besides 20 plus sessions curated in various literature festivals, and of course numerous charitable initiatives over the years. For today's rights, now that we have Mr. Kapoor, just let's hear from him.
My sincere apologies for keeping you waiting. Very good evening, ma'am. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
I guess all the books that we come to read and all the writers that we meet, we get to know their face when we are having them in person in the room that we are reading and the occasion the book is being known. But however, this time it's a very different and a very bright occasion that we have known you since our childhood actually. Most of us since our childhood, and we'll get to know a different facet where we get to also know about the book that you read. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kapoor. So for today's Right Circle, we have Mrs. Salma Chaudhary in conversation with Deepti. Kalpana ma'am is the Director Emeritus of NH World School, Raipur. the last of many schools she founded and nurtured to their current state of being a world school. Born to freedom fighters, educators, and social workers, Padmana has experienced and adventures that have made her compassionate and highly evolved in her outlook on all aspects of life. A teacher by choice since 1972, she has been instrumental in setting up and heading 3 successful CBSE schools in Gujarat. Nominated by the CBSE for the Global Education Leadership Program, she traveled to the literate corners of the world, Brazil, Australia, under the aegis of GELP and as a part of the MHRD to China. She attended the strategic movement course at management course at IIM and has undergone London School of Education Strategic Management and Leadership Program for the heads of schools. An active council member of ICP, an international confederation of principals, and has presented papers at conferences held in South Africa and Shanghai. Her greatest vision has always been that the child should not be read as a prototype, but rather as a young mind trained to work for the society. Then of course our guest of honor today, who needs no introduction, Deepti is an Indian film actor, director, writer, painter, poet and photographer, as we are all aware. Her major contribution has been in the area of art cinema, writing critical acclaim for her sensitive and close-to-life characters that emphasize the changing roles of women in India. She has won many accolades for her work and has to her name several national and international awards as well. Bengal Film Journalists Association Awards, Best Supporting Actress for Reshma Sama, Best Supporting Actress Award at the Karachi Film Festival, Best Actress Award at the Imagine India Film Festival in Spain, Best Actress Award at the New York Indian Film Festival, to name a few. The book in discussion today, A Country Called Childhood, is especially close to her heart, being an intensely cherished chronicle of Deepti's formative years in Amritsar, where she was born and raised. Without any further delay, over to you, Kalpana, and welcome, Deepti.
Hi everyone. Good evening. So, first of all, I really want to thank you for writing such a beautiful book. Thank you. It's really beautiful. It's so evocative. And you know, every thing, people call it a Malaya, but I wouldn't put it in the category of Malaya. No, it's not. It is, I think, a lyrical and flowing tribute to your parents, the city that you were born into, and to your child, which was really marvelous. And those days, I think, life was simpler, and you have really put it across so beautifully and so well. Congratulations for doing that.
Thank you.
May I ask how many years did it take to complete this?
Well, it started like 20 odd years ago. I wrote the first 4 chapters. They were long chapters. First 4. And then I realized that I would have to write about my childhood extensively. I cannot just have vignettes because there's so much more to say. So I started putting material together. I started making extensive notes, talking to relatives, talking to friends, talking to people from Amritsar, around the area where I lived. There was a lot of research that went into it, cross-checking of facts, visiting villages, even visiting Lahore. A couple of times because my parents both came from there. So I would say that my work on the book has continued over the years, from 20 years earlier, and then it continued all those jottings, and then the jottings were forever happening and they were all over the place. So it took longer to figure out what I had written where. So the process was very long. But the last 5 years, when the publication house came,
That's when I was able to work. I knew I had to work totally focused and with concentration and with a proper structure and a form to the book, which my publisher helped me attain, because I think I was just writing in sequence, everything. And then he came in, David R. He came in and he created a structure for the book, which was a big help. So in the last 5 years of concentrated work, but the process started 20 years.
I do think that all of us would like to know that this very unique name, a country called Raipur, from where did it come?
It's a metaphor. I use it like a metaphor in one of the paragraphs that I've written. I'm describing the place where I grew up, the environment around me, and I'm saying these are the sights, smells, sounds from the country I once lived in, a country called China. So the publishing house, they immediately caught on to that and said, this is going to be the title of your book. So I was happy with that because I created the term and it was mine, and got picked up with so much enthusiasm, and I thought this, yeah, if David thinks this is the act title, I'm sure he knows it.
While reading this book, I came across two things which really struck me. First was your earliest memories. I mean, the earliest memory that from where you begin is, I think, 4 years and 4 or 5 years, and the way you have described the entire episode, it is like a photographic memory.
Yes.
And one doesn't feel that you're reading a book. One feels as if the film is just going in front of your eyes. It's so picturesque. So, I mean, from where do you get this quality of writing? So much imagination, and all the time you have it in your sensory problem. Everything is so well written, so well, and the words and the vocabulary and the context that you have put in the things. It's amazing. So all those people, and then one line wherein you have written about that presence of the people who comes to officer every winter, visits the valley.
Okay, yeah.
And then his minimalistic approach of, the way you have just put it into one small sentence, that one hole, one shroud,
And nothing.
yes.
Yes.
So has it,
Yeah. The minimalist, yes.
it has influenced
It has influenced me from the very beginning. It has, I think, influenced me in all areas of life. I'm not, how do you say that? I've always I'm not into, how do you describe the minimalist? Yeah, I describe the feel in the belly, and as a child, as a little girl, when I used to run down, and he would come wee hours of the morning, like maybe 4:30, 4:30, that time before the sun. And I would come down and I would take atta from the kitchen, and I knew he'd be standing outside the atta. Atta is the big iron gate. So उसको खोलने I used to give him a, he had a long jewelry. तो उसके अंदर डाल देते थे jewelry में आटा डाल के, and I remember I was never in a rush to run back and get back into bed, the winter nights. He would come always in the winter. Pahad was like winter. Yeah. And I recall how each time I would stand there observing him. वो अपना चोरी fold करके और रखे, as he would turn, singing his song. एक ही गाना मैंने सालों साल वही गाना सुना. And I would observe him, he has so little. He lives with so little. There's this jhula and this kambal, the shawl that he sort of wears around him, and this jhula, that's all he has, and he has this song. So that also became like a metaphor for me in later life, that you don't really need too much. Yeah, you have to live in the essence. My mother would also teach me to live in the essence. Not acquisitions never really matter. It is what you are inside you that is going to enrich your life. What you are inside of you. तो वो बचपन में फकीर को ऑब्जर्व करते करते वो आई थिंक अभी तक चल रहा है मिनिमलिस्ट का जो मेरा फैसिनेशन. हाँ, it's still continuing.
All right. I think the audience would like to know about the three very strong women amongst whom you grew up. Two of your grandmothers, maternal and your mom. She was also a very strong person, very beautiful person, of course, but very strong. And so what are your views on these people and what was their impact on you as a growing child?
See, I think one day, when we are kids, when we are really बच्चे 5, 6, 7, okay? That's not when you recognize what these women in your life, your daddy, your nani, your mother, how significant they are going to be in your entire process of growing up. You don't realize it then, but you constantly hear stories about them as you go along. Your grandmother was like this, your nani used to do this. So what two stories हैं उनकी. Even though I have lived little time in my life with my daddy, maybe first 6 to 7 years, 8 years. But that influence because one knows about them through other family members. So daddy being a matriculate in the year 1920 something was an unheard of thing. Totally. And she was a Sanskrit scholar. And she was a major social worker. There were like 70 girls, young girls who were adopted and brought up in our home, the Chandrati house, where I grew up. And एक करके उनका कन्यादान करवाया, but not before giving them some skill to stand on their own feet. This is the message I got very early in my life. That yes, education, but not till the time you get married. That's not the attitude. शादी होने तक कुछ करो ताकि आपकी जो है वो resume जो better हो जाएगी, वैसे नहीं. Just to equip yourself for life and do something, learn something, and then of course matrimony and the grahasthashram will begin. And that kind of thing. To pick up orphan girls, to educate them, keep them at home, bring them up, and then get them married. So ये उनका जो काम था orphan लड़कियों के लिए, and then she also did a lot of work against to abolish the system of child marriage. Child marriage was very prevalent at that time, and she would go and she would, with other women, she would go and she would talk sense into the family. क्या कर रहे हो? This is not the age. This is the age to send her to school. पाठशाला भेजो ये वो जो भी that the whole they did like very organic work. They worked like their work was right there on the spot with and destitute women. कोई आदमी अपनी बीवी को घर से निकाल रहा है और कोई सास है कोई काम कर रहे हैं कुछ कर रहे हैं. She would go with these women. They would talk sense into these people and make sure that the woman is established back at home. She has a proper place in that house and she's respected. I mean, these are the kind of things. So when you hear, we constantly hear things. So when you hear things like this, it's already seeps into your psyche. You want to be, if not a social worker or somebody like her, but you want to at least follow those, like my father. Because my mother was a refugee, she was born and brought up in Burma. She went to a convent school there, and the family had to flee Burma to come to India during the Japanese invasion of Burma in the Second World War. So refugees यहाँ आए, Bulgaria or let's say Punjab में कहीं, and then they finally settled, found home in Lahore, and then the partition happens. So twice refugees, and then came hurrying back in the village with nothing. So under those circumstances, when my mother gets married, my daddy and my dadaji, and my father, he was such a progressive man, he took 1 rupee as token dharaj. One. एक note. Coin होता था तब, 1 रुपए का coin. So these are the things I have grown up listening to and believing that this is my heritage, this is where I belong, this is the kind of maybe where I come from. These are the people who I call family. So always been very proud of that. My mother was very artistic, incorrigibly artistic and a huge nature lover, and I get that from her. And my father from his adventurous spirit, of course, but from Mama I get this love for dance, drama, theatre, music. She wanted to, be an artist, but because of those twice refugee situation, I think these women settled for, okay, let's not put such a burden on our parents. क्या कहें कि हमें अब ड्रामे भी करने और हमें ये सब करना है, तो चलो 4 girls are there to be married, let's just go with what father can do best. तो वो जो best उसके साथ चले. Of course, my mother painted till the end of her life. She was a painter, she kept painting. And then my nanny, this is the color. My nanny was a very interesting, completely illiterate. Jhan Dadi was exemplary, matriculated in the 20s. Nanny was no education at all, maybe 2.5, 3 in classes school. And she was a farmer's daughter, so she was a woman of the soil. She was very, very energetic, very enthusiastic, very gritty woman. When she went to Burma, after getting married, she accompanied her husband went to Burma. They had 6, 7 children, and she kept going with my Nanaji to different places because he was working for the PWD. He was the chief accountant there, and the children, my mother and all the other siblings, they grew up in the convent schools in Mandalay. So under the care of their Chacha, Badi's younger brother. Now Mama comes back to India during the Japanese War. She takes the ship across the Bay of Bengal with her older brother, and she comes to Calcutta. From there they make their way to Punjab and their village and everything. Mama, but my Nani, they were still there. When the war began, they thought कि वो हो जाएगा, वो 2 साल का कोर्स करेंगे वहाँ पे टीचर्स ट्रेनिंग और whatever and to come back. But the Indians had to flee. 500,000 Indians fled Burma during the Second World War. Not everybody was sort of rich enough to take a flight out of Burma or to take the boats because the boats were being torpedoed. So these families, these 500,000 Indians had to flee and come across, walk across the Assam hills, Nagaland, Manipur. वहाँ से वो इम्फाल वगैरह वहाँ पे लैंड करके आए and then made their way through the jungles. And my Nani's best story, which is one of my favorite stories from all the family stories, is that how she said when they were all leaving and they had to leave everything behind, she said, "I'm not leaving my grandmother. gramophone नहीं छोड़ी. So she carried the gramophone with her. She didn't trust anybody. कि ये ले जाएंगे और ये जंगल में कहीं नीचे गिरा देंगे और कहेंगे कि ये क्या? And she wanted it. So she said, I will carry. She carried it, and the 100 records, which were given, of course, to the coolies and the porters who were traveling with them. There were other stuff, but there was nothing much. They couldn't carry. They couldn't manage to just walk across the jungles for a day. रात को कहीं ना कहीं वो डेरा डाल करके, and then they would light mashals. When the mashals to keep the wild animals away. So when the mashals ran out, then badi mummy, my nanny, she started pulling out all the trousseau sarees which she had collected for her 4 daughters. And एक करके the trousseau sarees got burnt on this ravaged passage to India. And that's how they survived. And the gramophone came back. She couldn't convince everybody to bring the records back. So she was just crying, standing over the precipice of the hill. एक करके Jutika Roy, Kanan, Bala, K.L. Sehgal, Uma Devi, all the records went down the valley. And she was like sobbing like a baby. But the gramophone I have with me today. It is in my studio in Manali, and very prized possession.
You did tell us that yes, it is in your possession, that they had their music time in their house each day.
Yes.
There was a fixed time you mentioned that they couldn't do anything.
Yes.
Husband and wife sit down and devote that much time to the music.
In the evenings at home in Burma were reserved for listening to music. This gramophone had arrived at home, so every evening they would एक करके record collection करता था, and they would play the records. Mostly I think they were bhajans, and they also used to be dramas, audio of dramas, enactments, probably Ram, Sita and all that. I was, it would be something of the mythology. And but music is what they would make time, and they would wait for the evening because some family रहती के आसपास, and they will put on this kind of song today. आज इसको सुनेंगे. I mean, it's so enchanting when you think of that. Today, in today's time, कि आज हम लोग phone, Wi-Fi, and all that. We're so preoccupied with all that. And imagine just making time for music and sit around each other. What a beauty of a life it must be.
Now, tell us something about the notice song.
We used to, our house was in the, Amritsar is a walled city. So there is, it was a huge, large, booming house, 500 square yards in the middle of the walled city. And it had 4 stories and several terraces and many staircases. That house itself was a character by itself. I had a lot of issues with that house. I was just scared that you'd come down and go to the room in the night. You don't sleep on the terrace. रात को नीचे जाना पड़ता था 3 flights down to go to the room. And all those those adventure stories are there in the book. When you go through the book, you know. But the house was just like maybe this much, little small gully between the house and there's the mosque, beautiful mosque. Of course, at that time it was deserted. It was all black street. Somewhere it was burnt, or weather-beaten, white mosque, but उसके काले. But now only kabutars were there. तो जब partition हुआ, and the cobbler clan from Rajasthan, those people came back. They went and settled inside the mosque. But of course, the Waqf board, sooner or later, after a few months, they said, listen, this is not a place for dwelling. This is a religious sanctuary. You have to find your bellies elsewhere. तुम लोग सब ऊंची प्लान हो और कोई अप्रोप्रिएट अपना झुग्गी झोंपड़ी बना के करो अपना इंतजाम. You can't be living in a mosque. So my grandfather opened up the area to the back of our house. He said this lane going right inside, and there is some space there. Let them all go settle there. So they all settled there. Of course, over the years we gave them the name of Mochistan because to Pakistan, Lahore go to there, and they were, they were such a fascinating. And that environment from my childhood, I got so much to observe. Later on, I was, of course, all this was going to be so valuable for me as an actress. I got to observe so many kinds of characters. The little boys who were polishing shoes, the men who were making shoes, mending shoes, the little boys who take their boxes of shoe polish. I also learned shoe polish from a little boy from Totaram. Yeah, I polished very well. So, so there was a very, very enchanting environment. Or was very there between the house and the mosque. Forever, these little, we used to call them timber boat. They were forever frolicking up and down the valley, half clad, toddlers, and every night they would play the dholak, majila, and ताल कुछ छेना टाइप कुछ होता था. And every night before going to sleep, they would sing and they would play that dholak and majira. You could sleep on the terrace. So the sound of that music and sleeping to that, and then the dome of the mosque, the minarets, the clouds, the stars, the moon, kabhi aa rahe chand baadlon ke piche se, how you can never grow up to be a normal, regular, practical person if you grow up in an environment like this. So for 19 years, this is the environment I grew up in. You can imagine that I don't blame me for not being a practical person. So it was fascinating. I still remember that there was a woman called Deori.
I really wanted to stress upon that character.
Deori's husband was a complete boozer. He would come home at the end of the day, late. He would come home totally drunk, sloshed, and nightly he would get bombarded with his wife. So high-pitched voice of Deori accompanying the dholak. So even if you were on the third or second floor, sometimes second, sometimes third stairs, but वो soundtrack हमेशा ना, he would get a beating from his wife. Every मतलब वो सुधरता ही नहीं था, and she also never gave up trying to सुधार him. There were all these characters around. Dwarka's kite shop, the Sardar Tailor, so much of Dwarka's hair parlor.
Later on shifted to one market. Yoga's hair parlor.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us something about Joy of Thought.
Yes. My father studied English, majored in literature, English honors he did at Government College, Raipur. My grandfather was a leading criminal lawyer of Amritsar. But Pitaji, I called him Pitaji. I called him Piti actually, because I could never say Pitaji when I was a toddler. So it remained Piti. So it's always remained Piti. He joined the government college. He would go to college and just come home only. He would stay there in the hostel. He would come home only weekends. And one such छुट्टियों का टाइम था, a friend of his and they both boys went to Manali and said it's winter time, let's see the snow, Manali jaake. So they went to Manali. My father discovered that he heard that there's a Russian painter here called Nicholas Roerich, who is in exile. He is from Russia and he's settled in this little small little village in Himachal called Nagar. It's between Kulu and Manali. So he's settled there. So father got very intrigued. A painter, a Russian painter living in a small village in Himachal. So he had to pursue this because he was a great art enthusiast. He used to come up with a little booklet called Joy of Art. So in my book, there's a chapter called Joy of Art, in which I describe my father's pursuing Rorik and going to meet him, how he went to meet him, how he spent the night at Rorik's house, how the two men talked about art and you know other things related to art. Um, it was something he got Rabindranath Tagore to write the introduction. Rorik's essay was there. He published the essay, Tagore, and then Chukai, sketches done by Chukai. I mean, these were people, these were national figures, all of them. And my father being just an enthusiastic 19-year-old student of English literature, follows up on all these people and actually puts together this booklet called Joy of Art. But the interesting part of the story is that his going, reaching Rorik and staying the night there, and when Rorik was a huge, tall man, my father is small build. So he said when I was, when I wore his pajamas, they were all showing on the floor. But that's a very interesting story. I always heard that from my father. He would narrate that incident very enthusiastically.
You mentioned about the storytelling sessions of your mother.
Yeah.
And seminars
About stories from us.
Yeah.
About the neighborhood. Once I sort of saw him having a seminar with those little the mochi boys. They were just inside the gate. They were sitting, having beautiful dark faces. It was such adorable kids. And then Pitaji is telling them hygiene, the importance of hygiene, how not to fiddle here and there, all over the place, how to go to the right place and go and pee, and what are the advantages and disadvantages.
So, I mean, you love mountains. What do you think? What can they do?
I think because father was very adventurous spirit every summer vacation. Because he was a teacher, उनकी छुट्टी हमारी छुट्टियों के साथ होती थी. So we would go to Kulu Valley every summer. And my mother was a painter. Dad would take his book and reading, lying somewhere among the घास पे पत्थरों पे आसपास, and हम लोग पानी में खेलते थे दीदी and my mother would be painting on her little small oil paper, and father would be reading. So I guess these things are just part of my love for nature comes from my childhood days of roaming, and because it was very fond of long walks, so those, there's always been. I mean, after every little while, I need to go to the mountains. I can't stay in Bombay too long. दो हफ्ते के बाद थोड़ा सा कुछ चाहिए.
Then, as you were growing up in school,
I don't want to give too much of my book.
no. Tell us somehow
आपने उसे भी बताया है.
Elbow crusade. Elbow crusade. Elbow crusade.
Elbow crusade. Yeah, Elbow crusade. I won't tell you. You will have to read that chapter. But it was our battle against elitism. It was a horrible experience growing up in the north of India among the Punjabi male ambience, which was very, which was how do I say it? It was not pleasant for young girls growing up because the way he is discontented, that was very objectionable. It was just not a good environment. You know, mothers would become more strict, fathers would start worrying more because they knew कि कैसे देखते हैं लोग, किस तरह से देखना है. I mean, I've been in other parts of India. I've been down south also. I've never seen that kind of gaze. You know, men just look at you and you feel kind of this not nice. So वो मैंने पता नहीं because I didn't have these things. I only saw the Punjabi meals. So I had decided that they are not the kind to be, you know, they are definitely, I don't want to know that because father was so different, people at home were so different, uncles and everyone was so different. एक ज्ञानी जी होते थे, he was such a beautiful soul. He was like the family's, you know, confidant and what a wise man. I knew these men around us, but the minute you stepped out and the minute you you entered your 12th year, 13th year, 14th, you started hating. And cycle पे जाना, bus में कभी चढ़ गए, there was always men trying to paw you and trying to stand up close against you. It was awful. It was bad. And all the girls used to, कई लड़कियां स्कूल में रोते हुए आ गई. So we've written about that. We decided to kind of, you know, toughen our minds and not be scared, not cry. Let's not cry. Let's just turn around and, you know, Mama would have like that, you know, reacted with strength. This there's a whole chapter. It's written a little tongue in cheek because otherwise it becomes very unpleasant. So I've tried to write it in a little style, but you must read that chapter. Every girl knows what that is. Each and every. That's what
Then, I mean, you learn singing, you learn dance, and probably you were one of the first girls from the to perform on stage at the festival. But
they must have been
no, they weren't. You were
I
amongst
think
the
you were
first
festival.
ones. At youth festival, you were amongst the first girls to perform at the youth festival.
I didn't.
Really? You were?
Okay. Yeah. She should know. She's from Amritsar. Because my parents encouraged us towards the arts, so I studied painting at Raipur. I also started learning Kathak. And of course, we used to do Bhangra and all these other things for fun. But my serious classical training was in Kathak. And we had Guruji, Rajasthan Gharana Siddhi, to train me. And there was never any problem that my parents had. If I would say that I want to grow up and be a dancer, actually films came later, but music में तो मामा ने पहली क्लास में डाल दिया था. We were very small. I had a 4-year-old niece sitting in the music class, and then it went on for 5 years. बहुत से राग और क्या क्या नहीं सीख लिया in those 5 years. So that all children do. बहुत से बच्चे हैं जिनको म्यूजिक की क्लास में डाल दिया जाता है 10 साल सीखते हैं. But that's what I feel, that if you're introduced to classical music early in your life, then your sense of sur, that can never leave you. You'll always know कि गलत लगा और and when you hum, you will always be in sur में.
I believe you sung also.
Because I did a play in Bombay, Shekhar Suman, played Sahil Vidhani, the poet Sahil Vidhani, and I played Amrita Pritham. we did this play and in a big portion of that play, I had to sing live. So I was doing a lot of riyaz those days, and during those days I was recorded two songs in Punjabi. They are on YouTube, but I'm not a singer. Nobody's going to ask me. Yeah, nobody did that. So you write about all these cinema halls. Yes, that's my favorite topic. Yeah, of course, obviously. Yes, so obvious. So the love for cinema was also, I think, something that came from parents. Love for cinema, I think, came from Mama. Of course, I discovered later that my grandfather, Bauji, who was a leading criminal lawyer, I came to know later years that he had three boxes reserved in three cinema halls throughout the year. Okay, fine, he was a very affluent lawyer, doing very well and all that, big household, all that was fine. But three boxes reserved in three cinema halls. So after a hard day's work at court, as he would walk down home with another man, his munshi or munison, they would walk into one of the halls, put their entertainment to unwind, watch a little bit of the movie, कोई जो भी चल रही होती थी, and then उसको discuss करते करते घर पे आते. And it was like, I said, what? I can't believe this. My uncle told me, yeah, that was your grandfather, and then your boys were very fond of it. They would sneak out of the house and go and see the matinee shows. But Mama, my mother, she was the one who wanted to be an actress. It was Mama. But it was when we were very small, she didn't tell us. She told me this once I had grown up. She कहती थी कि yes, I wanted to join Bombay Talkies, and her uncle would tell her कि no, अगर डांस नहीं करना है तो क्या होगा? बैंड से मारते हैं काम. So she would just give up the idea to people, give up the idea of wanting to be that. But yes, it comes from Mama and grandfather, and then I had another cousin brother, which we read about in the book. His name is Inuria, we call him, Arvind, who did once stayed for a few years. He would join Bombay film industry, but came back to it. I would yes, I think probably the last question is it? Okay. So immediately after the 65 war, your father took you to Kenya and Bombay. What was your reaction or feeling, or what did you feel after going there? I've written extensively about the 1965 Pak War, which was happening just across. It seemed like कि घर से थोड़ी दूरी लड़ाई हो रही है. Hill border. Just 50 kilometers between Lahore and Amritsar, 45 kilometers. So about 15 beach में पड़ता है border. It's very close, very close. I've written about how we could never take that war seriously. Because we were far too excited कि war हो गई. You could keep excited, मतलब हम stories से सुनते थे ना parents से. वहाँ Burmese invasion हो गया, Japanese invasion हो गया, वहाँ से आए, जंगलों से cross किया. मतलब कितनी dramatic stories. और partition हुआ, कितनी stories partition की. But in our lives there was nothing. So we just went to school and came back and just went to Valley for holidays, and then everything was okay. So when war happened, we were super excited, all the kids. So post time my father saw that this is not happening. Once the ceasefire was declared after 22 days, we had enough fun by then. He said, you have to, let's drive to the border. And my mother said, war is just a big ceasefire. We all, I feel it won't be nice for the girls to see, this killings and all that, and dead bodies and all that. They said, no, they should know the reality of the war. They should, it's not fun and games. So we were driven, we were taken in a car, और हम लोग वहाँ पहुँचे. It was my mama's nephew, my cousin brother, he was posted there at Kinkar. So we hadn't had a reason to go to the border. But that's when my father wanted us to. And I've written about the impact that trip had on me when I actually saw what I saw over there and how it was in so much contrast to what the way we had been receiving this whole thing at our end, being at home. So those things are, those are the chapters. Those are actually one of my favorite chapters. Elbow Crusade is one of my favorite chapters because I know each and every female in this country will identify with it. Park War because it was, we really thought, oh, now we're going to become part of history. So, parents did always have this, they were not overprotective. They were not, my father was saying, you must, and he always said that you don't think that you cannot do something just because you are born a girl. There's nothing. If you want to do something, don't think that you can't do it because you're not a boy, you're a girl. That's a question. So with such progressive mindsets around you. My father, just one little thing, it reminds me of this. I don't want to read my whole book. I'm reminding myself here. But my Dadaji was a staunch cutter Janasanghi. And my Dadi was a Pakka Congress. And they never clashed. Never ever. There is not a single story among all the family stories he clashed for. They would discuss each other's ideas, put their ideas across, listen to the other person. That's how it was. Can I have questions from you? Yeah. Do you have anything? Because I think they are beginning from there.
I just, one final thing, that you don't understand so well.
Yes.
The sights, the sounds, markets,
Yes.
and especially those lady galas and baby galas and how they used to, that they used to sing in a way. Like I think the same person would go to your valley and would come to our house also. In summers they would sell kharuja and and the way they would sing it. They wouldn't say kharuja and thoda गा करके इसको बोलना and all that.
Yeah, sing song. Where does that like that word?
Same, this brought alive the entire unserved that time. I just have to ask you one thing. Do you think in today's time, when the children, because you looked in books, as it is, you were a child, but you looked inwards, you reflected. Do you think in today's time, the way the life is going on, today's children will remember all that? In such, details. Because detailing of your book it really amazed me. It is amazing. And to tell you the truth, I really felt it was like a flowing river. And you could touch the water and take your hand out and again touch with the same feeling. I was feeling the never. How you touch the water and it gives you the same feeling. It was the same feeling that I had. So, कितना अमृतसर यहाँ लेके तुम आए?
At the time when I lived, I was happy to be. I think it gave me a change of perspective on my childhood because I left Amritsar. I went to America. And when I would look back from there, if I had probably stayed there, I may not have valued little things all over the place in the book that I write about. वो values शायद उसकी जो दूर से जो एक बार वहाँ से कटने के बाद when you look back and you say, oh wow, there was Deepti, and then when you start writing, you recall each and every one memory leads to the other, and it just goes on and on. It's like a parat खुलता जाता है ना आपका जो memory reservoir है. So I think that perspective happened because of having gone away from it. Because that's how much the time allows. So, any questions, please raise your hand. Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
How much of Lamha is present in the country of Chad? Your first book.
No, the first book happened after my childhood.
I mean, how much of Lamha is present in this?
Well, the sensibility is the same. I'm the same person. Lamha, this childhood will tell you why Lamha got written and why it got written like that.
Great.
This book will lead you and why I am the kind of actress I am and not any other kind of an actress. What makes me what I am is because my childhood and my वो जो नींव पड़ जाती है ना आपकी जो फाउंडेशन बन जाती है वो जब आप समझेंगे तब आपको सारी चीजें fall in place.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Any
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you, spoke about, you mentioned the sound and rhythm in your growing years, and that was in your growing years you heard, and when you recollect it now while writing, what kind of child you discovered within yourself?
I think I was very my environment. I was very awake to it. I was awake. I was receiving things all the time. I was very receptive and very perceptive. Because I remember I used to, there are many things that my siblings don't remember. But I remember. Because to me they mattered. So I think I was just always very perceptive as a child from the beginning. And the way my mother used to observe life, वो भी मैं सुन के छोटी-छोटी चीज़ों को pick करती थी और उनके बारे में वो comment करती थी. So I also learned how to notice little things, appreciate little things, find beauty in little things from the beginning. Yes.
वो मेरे ख्याल से आप सिर्फ सुन सकते हैं वो कहानियों इन चीज़ों को. How do you define success, ma'am?
Define success.
Success.
I would. You are successful. You have to know how you want to live your life on your own terms. No compromise. Thank you. Yes.
I have one last question.
Yes.
That one day I got to this, that one day people will be sitting here and I'll be there and people will watch.
Yeah.
So, and that you wrote many years ago, you didn't have.
I know I'm writing about it now, but I felt it many years.
Yes, you felt it so many years ago when there was no. You never thought you would become an actress, and that
But I felt it. I didn't feel it. I thought, yes, I was 8 years old when I thought एक दिन सिनेमा हॉल में बैठते हैं, एक दिन मैं वहाँ होंगी और ये लोग सब हंस रहे रो रहे हैं ना एक्टर्स के साथ, वो मैं whatever I know there, they will be relating to me. मेरे साथ हंसेंगे, मेरे साथ रोएंगे. There will be emotional connect with the audience.
like you had your little
You're not
otherwise known as Vansi. And now we have come to the end of today's Raipur session. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. I, along with my co-SRs women, Kalpana ma'am, Deepti, Anshul, would like to extend my sincerest thanks to Prabhakar Foundation for curating these literary events that intellectually stimulate and mentally rejuvenates us. Sri Cements Limited plays a pivotal role in promoting our social literary traditions nationwide. Team Hyatt and our General Manager Mr. Karan Kapoor, dear Esas, thank you for your unmatched hospitality. I must extend a heartfelt thank to Deepti for her benign company and for sharing her many versatile experiences with us. I would like to thank our co-SRs woman Kalpana ma'am for her admirable efforts in moderating today's session. Last but not the least, I must express my deep gratitude for ever interactive and rapt audiences. Today's session has been a real treat. Prabhakar Foundations, the Right Circle Raipur, organized by SRs. Until next time.